Hi, welcome to Posca Club. In today's video we're going to draw a full colour puking rainbow. There's two things I really want to show you. One is a real neat way of drawing the clouds, giving them a little bit of depth by putting a shadow underneath and highlight over the top. Second thing we're going to do is loads of double layering of the colours. So once we put one lot of colours down in for the rainbow, we're going to go over it again with loads of little drips and splats and things like that. Yeah, let's get on with it, shall we? Let me show you the colours that we're going to use today. We're also going to use a bit of cardboard today, which I don't usually use, but I've seen this picture by a couple of students, similar kind of picture by a couple of students, done on cardboard, and it looks really good, so I thought we'd give it a go on cardboard today. So yeah, grab yourself, this is like an A4 sheet of cardboard. It's just a little bit bigger than my hand. Whatever you've got though will do the trick. Just with one thing on the cardboard, if you finding your cardboard is pilling a bit too much, where the fibres of the cardboard come up as you're colouring in, then two things you can do with that. One is when you're colouring in, colour in a little bit lighter. Don't press so hard so you're not scrubbing the cardboard. Wait for it to dry, brush those bits that are pilling up, brush them off when they're dry. The other is maybe consider just giving your cardboard a little coat of lacquer, a little spray varnish or something like that. It just holds everything together. It means you're drawing on top of the lacquer. So just something to think about when working on with cardboard. Right, these are the colours that I'm going with today. I've just realised I've not put a black in there, so let's just quickly put a black in there. Look, loads of colours. So essentially rainbow colours up until there. They're all the rainbow colours. So grab whatever you can. This is going to be for the puke coming out of the cloud. Red, orange, yellow, light green, light blue, sky blue, violet. Okay, but any series of rainbow colours is going to do the trick and look really nice in there. I've also seen, like I say, a student did a aqua green and emerald green cloud. It looked the business, so I thought we'll have a little go at that today as well. So aqua green and emerald green for the cloud. Finish off with white. We're going to use white inside the cloud, but we'll also probably use a little bit of white maybe for a power line. We'll see if we need it when we get into the finish point. Finally, a PC3M in black, just for a little bit of outlining that we might do. Maybe even put a little face on the cloud, that kind of stuff. Okay. Yeah, very loose brief that we've got for today's session, so we can just kind of wing it as we go along, be a little bit flexible with our designs. Right, let's get in and zoom into about there. That's good. Right, first thing we're going to do then, just go and grab your, those rainbow colours. We're going to go and put on, not the rainbow colours, the cloud colours. We're going to go and put on the darker of the cloud colours. This is our starting point, and all we're going to do is just a line across here somewhere. Just like that. That is a point that we can kind of, all the rainbow is going to fall out of that. Essentially, we've just drawn a mouth just there. I have noticed that my emerald green is extremely transparent there as well, so I'll have to give that a little bit of a shake later on. Right, let's go and put these in. So just keep it nice and simple. Look, so what you can do actually is you can just kind of put these in the order in which you know you're going to draw them. You can see, look, there we go. I can see that light green is the middle one. So what I might do is I might just start with the light green, put the light green in there, and then build everything outwards. If you're not confident that you're going to start with red here and then have enough space for all the other colours, that's a way of doing it. I know that light green is going to be in the middle, so I'm going to try and make these lines thick enough so that I get to light green by the time I get to the middle. Okay, right, let's talk in. Let's go and put something on. Let's go and put in some stripes like that. Don't mess around with it, just chuck a stripe in. You can always change the thickness of the stripes if you want to a little bit later. But for the time being, let's just throw some colour on the page. And we can fix it later. It doesn't matter if our rainbow has less colours in it as well. Nobody says we have to conform. There we go, orange stripe. Colour it in, same kind of thickness. Now remember, when you're colouring in, press nice and lightly. You don't have to press too hard to get the colour to come out. The lighter you press, the more opportunity, or the more likely the paint will sit nice and flat. Constantly wet nibs, and make sure you prime your pen regularly. Keep it nice and wet. Okay, stripe number 3, let's go in with a yellow. Yellow is a very transparent colour, so I'm always a little bit worried about using this on cardboard, especially because it just shows up. Unless you spend half an hour priming it, just shows up a little bit transparent. What we'll do is I'll halfway through, when I've put all the colours on, I am going to put a second coat on as well. I'll probably speed that up so you don't have to if you don't want to. But that's not looking too bad. That's reasonably opaque. Okay, remember I said that green colour was the middle of the colour. You can see I'm just about coming to the middle of that stripe as well, so it's all kind of going to plan. This is where you want to just be looking, am I in the right space? If you're not, if you're a little bit too far over, just try and make these lines a little tiny bit thinner. If you're not over far enough, make those lines a little tiny bit fatter. But you just want to make those small adjustments rather than waiting until you get to the end and realising you're just going to have one really thin stripe at the end. So yeah, just be making those changes on the fly. Go, green stripe. So when I'm doing a rainbow, I like to go from like red, orange, yellow, standard colours, but instead of then going to green, regular green in Posca is just a little bit too dark for me, so then I'm going to switch over to this light green and light blue. The same with the regular blue. It's just a little bit too dark for me, so I'm just going to go for this light blue in here. Tonally, I think it works. So look, just here, I know I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got this colour and then those two colours to put in. So I've got 1, 2, 3. I'm thinking about how fat my stripes need to be in order to fit them all in nicely. There we go, stripe number, what's that, number 5? So yeah, like I was saying, I like to go from red, orange, yellow, standard colours, then into the light colours, light green, light blue, and then I go with another blue. This next blue is a nice jump. It's sky blue, and it just takes us from that light blue into purple really, really seamlessly. See how the colours are starting to get a bit darker. You might even want to just go into a lavender at this point. That might look quite nice. Experiment, I guess, is what I'm saying. Choose whatever colours you think work best. You'll get your favourite colour combos. There's no reason why this just couldn't be a bunch of the same two colours just alternating. This pen is feeling dry. Feeling a bit dry, a bit empty. Right, one last colour. Into the violet, so we've gone red, orange, yellow, light green, light blue, sky blue. And then let's finish off with a little violet. Awesome, there we go, there's our rainbow. Already you can see how cool that looks against the brown. It's just a nice background. It's not quite as sharp as the white background that you get in the freestyle sketchbook. This brown just a little bit softer, and just it still makes those colours pop out. Okay, right, next stage. we're going to go and add in the cloud. Now there's two things we need to do with the cloud. We're going to do the bottom part of the cloud in the darker colour. We're going to do the top half of the cloud in white. So let's just go and get that darker colour working first. So if you remember for me that it was the aqua green and emerald green that we're going to use for the cloud, and then we're going to use a bit of white across the top. So let's start off with that, the darker colour, the emerald green. And all we're going to do on either side of this line that we've just drawn across the top here, either side we're going to put a capital C. So just here, look, stop when you get to the rainbow. Same over this side, look, just a capital C, stop when you get to the rainbow. That's it, that's all you need for the time being. Let's go and now grab the white. We'll come back to that emerald green in a minute. We're going to grab the white. And what we're going to do now is we're going to just do a bouncy line that joins these two bits together, and it's going to go across the top and make it go quite high as well. But like this, keep it nice and random. So we've got some big bounces, small bounces. Let's do a little tiny one in there, another big one. Finish off with a little one like that. Okay. That's looking pretty good. Okay, go and grab that darker colour you got again, and let's go and we're going to join the outside edges of these two C's together with a bouncy line. Again, just skimming the top of this rainbow. So it'll look like this. Let's just start here, look, just skimming the top of the rainbow. Some big bounces, some little bounces, and right at the end, look, just curve it around again. So it joins on really naturally like that. Now all the bottom half of this rainbow we're going to colour in. So just here we're going to go down the side of the rainbow. Look, just bring that line up there. Same on this side. Look, just go down the side of the rainbow. And then across there, fairly straight line. Like that. Don't bring that line all the way down. We want it so that this rainbow looks like it's starting inside the cloud and not right at the bottom. You see we've got this little ledge going up here. That's what we want. Awesome. Right, while that's waiting, let's go and give these colours a second coat. I'm going to quickly whip through these. You might want to fast forward if you don't want to wait. I'm not going to time lapse this because this is all part of the process. But if you only want to give yours one coat, that's fine. Just fast forward the video by about 5 or 10 minutes. But yeah, for me this is what separates the amateurs from the professionals. It's that giving that extra little touch. And when you're giving it this second coat, make sure the undercoat is nice and dry. No point in giving it a second coat if it's all wet under there, or even if it's a little bit damp, because all that will happen is you'll just start scraping up some of the semi-dry paint, and that's the last thing we want. And you might find some of these colours don't need a second coat, like the blues, the violet, that's come out really opaque. The yellow you might need to give 3 coats to. I'm generally just giving all of these another coat while I'm keeping one eye on that emerald green at the top, making sure that dries. Always worth having a hairdryer handy. Whenever you're doing Posca artwork, always have a hairdryer handy. You can just nice and quickly dry your artwork and then move on. Speeds up the process no end. Just don't forget, when you're drying with a hairdryer. Just have it on quite a cool setting. You don't want it too hot. If you have it on a hot setting, what's going to happen is you're just going to start melting the paint, heating it up, you know, warming it, softening it, and that's the last thing you want. What you want to do is make it cold and hard. Okay, I think we're just going to do this green layer, and then we're going to stop. I'm going to stop because I don't think the blues and the violets need a second coat. And to be honest, I think the yellow might need a third coat, so we'll see. That's looking pretty opaque. That's looking nice. Okay, that emerald is kind of dried. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do the aqua green part in the cloud. I'll zoom in for it because it involves a little bit of cutting in as well. Okay, so let's get right. That's as close as we can get. Look. And yeah, we're going to go over some of these lines with this emerald, and you see all like these fat 5M kind of pointy bits that we've got here. We're going to get rid of some of those pointy bits. We're also going to go around the top of the cloud as well, but we're going to leave as much of that white showing as possible. You might even want to go, you know, a little bit thicker with that white line if you haven't gone too thick with it. You can always put it on again afterwards if you need to, but let's go and do this bottom line first. Okay, so look, what's this? Let's go from here. Cuts in. This must be a while since I've used my emerald because it's not quite as opaque as it usually is. Let's do that again. Let's just going over there. That's better, just cutting in. So you see how we're just getting that jade part of the shadow just kind of creeping through really gently there. Just getting rid of it all. Let's carry on down the bottom here. And you can see, look, what we're doing, look, is just cutting those fat 5M points out into real sharp points. Let me show you what it looks like when it's coloured in. See how sharp and clean that looks? Let's keep on going all the way across, just cutting out those bits. Once you get to this side, don't forget you can go all the way to the edge till you can't see any of that emerald line again, like that. Okay, I'm not going to colour the whole thing in yet because there's a little bit of an outline I want to put around the top first before I do that. So let's go and do the same thing, same kind of thing, but we're going to go around the top. We're just going to stop just short of the white line this time. You might need to reach over because it's all a bit wet just here. But there you go, just leave as much of that white line as you can. And then when you get to this edge over here, this is where we're going to taper that white line out into a little sharp point. Okay, there's our cloud. Let's colour the rest in now, see how it looks. And I really like this colour combo is one of my favourites. You'll get to a point where you understand which colour combos, not understand, but you'll know which colour combos you really like. This is one of my favourites, the aqua green, emerald green. Not used it in such a long time, so I'm really pleased to be able to use it again for this piece. But yeah, that looks really good. What else might look really good? Maybe you're going with like a blue, light blue, sky blue, and then light blue in there. So you've got those three colours. They all work really well together as well. You don't even have to stick with like cloudy colours. You can go with whatever colours you want. You know, deep grey, grey, white. Maybe even like a Prussian violet and lavender. That might look pretty cool as well. But yeah, just experiment with those cloud tones. Okay, right, that's great. Let's leave that cloud to dry. Let's go move back downstairs again for these rainbow colours. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start on this side, we're going to work our way across, and we're going to add loads of extra little drips and splats. Watch this. Look. One of the things that I really like about Posca pens is the ability to be able to do stuff like this. So let's grab that red pen again, look, and let's go down every now and then, just whack out a little splat. Let's do one on the other side. Look, watch this. Little splat on that side, yeah. Maybe not too many over there. Let's go and put a few more in. Let me zoom out so you can see what it looks like as I go all the way down to the bottom on these. There we go. Put some bigger ones in. Bigger little drips, you know what I mean, bigger drips coming out there. Also do this, yeah, let's say we've got these big drips that are kind of really flopping out. Let's do some small drips, look, like this. Just a little drip that's just trailing down. Like that. Let's do one on this side as well. Now you don't really want to do too many on the right hand side because we are going to bring the orange and bring that dripping over this side as well. So go and grab that orange, let's go and try and do that. So, you know, small drips, big drips, whatever you want to put in. There's a small drip. Let's go and put a big drip in up here. Or a medium-sized one, I should say. Let's put another one in down here. There we go. You want to bring some of those orange drips onto the other sides. Look at how well that orange goes over the top of the yellow. Looks really nice. Compare that to, let's watch this yellow going over the top of orange. This is where I might need to give it a couple of coats, so let's just do a small drip. You can barely see it, can you? Get your pen, get your nib really wet. You want as much paint to be falling out as possible, and then just a real nice gentle touch. If you give it that gentle touch, you're just going to lay some thick paint on there. If you press hard, it's not going to lay that paint down. Let's try and do another one. Again, just pressing really gently to get that drip coming out. I'm not going to go too overboard with the yellow because I know it's a pain to get it looking opaque. Let's get into the green though. Green's right in the middle, so we can definitely go both sides of this green stripe. Look, let's go and put some green stripes, green splats in. Also, watch this. Look, I'm going to make one go all the way across two colours. Look at that. Let's bring it down. Let's put some smaller drips in. On the other side, let's do that as well. Contrast between the light blue and the light green, very similar, so it's difficult to kind of spot that, but those lines are there. Let's keep on moving ourselves across. Now as we're getting over to the right hand side, we're going to have more drips on the right hand side. See over here, on the left, all the drips are on the left, most of the drips are on the left. On the right, most of the drips will be on the right. There we go. Let's put a small. Let's go for a big one that crosses over two, and then let's put another little small one in there. Let's have one going that way as well. Nothing too much. Sky blue, let's go and do that one. Remember, you've got those 2 drips, one sticking out all the way, one just a little tiny drip. There you go, I haven't gone too mad with those drips, that looks alright. In with the violet. Let's put another one down here. Let's do another one really close, look. Kind of want to clump these things together. It always looks pretty cool if you clump things together. A bit more natural. That's looking nice. Let's finish off with just a couple of splats. So let's go back to that red. Look, on some of these bits, let's just put in an extra little splat there. An extra little splat there. Not going too crazy on that. Let's do the same kind of thing on this side. Look. Splat. And splat. You can go as nuts as you want with that. The messier, the better. It's going to look fun. But I'm going to keep it quite simple, like that. Okay, how we doing? Let's have a little look back here. That's looking pretty nice. So let's go and put some black outlines on this. I'm a sucker for a black outline. You don't always need it, but I do like a black outline on my work. I'm going to grab my PC3M even. PC3M, and let's start at the top and work our way down on this cloud. Yeah, like I say, we might just stick a little face in there as well. In fact, no, I'm not going to put a face in. I'm going to put some extra cloudy bits in. Should we do that now? Let's put the black outline on, see what it looks like, and then add some extra clouds in, okay? This is what we're always doing with our art, just kind of evaluating it every now and then, seeing what it needs, what it doesn't need. Okay, let's go around these clouds. Now you want to show as much of this white in there as possible. So let's try and go around the outside edge of this white area. Getting as close as you can. There we go. Of course you're going to double line it. Let's make it a little bit thicker. This is why I like using a 3M, because you can get quite a thin line from it. But if you need to, you can double up that line, make it fat, make it wonky. Yeah, don't forget, keeping it wonky is just going to make it look a lot more fun. Right, now let's go around the outside edge, and we're going to stop when we get to the rainbow, okay? Like that. Double wonky. Any bits that you've missed, go colour those in again. Lovely. Let's go and do the same on the other side, or something similar. Look how much of that I've missed. Got loads of that emerald green hanging out. This is why I double line everything I do, because on my second line I can just make all of that disappear so it doesn't look like it was ever there. Awesome, that's looking good. Let's go and put that line across the top of the rainbow. I'm going to do like a, it's going to overlap a little bit on either side, and it's going to be quite wobbly, but it's a fairly straight line, so I can't put too much in the way of a wobble in there. But just something like that, that's good. Let's go and double line it. So this again is where you can make that wobble a bit more pronounced. Flick off on either side. This looks a bit untidy just here. Let's go and do that again. Awesome, that's looking nice. Now let's go working down on these drips. I'm going to outline all of this, but I'm going to break the line up quite a lot. Okay, so the line is not just going to be one strong line, it's going to have certain areas, especially across the top of a drip, just there, certain areas where I'm going to break that line up and it's just going to be dots and dashes. Certain areas, like on the underside of a drip, that's why I'm going to double line, make it a little bit thicker. Okay, let's go and try and do it, shall we? Let's say, here we go, let's some dots and dashes. Getting underneath, make it thicker. Little flick on the inside there. That kind of thing. And that's the technique we're going to do across all of these drips, okay? So let's just spend a few minutes going around all of these, let nice and broken across the top, thick underneath. And they can break and they can come back and they can break again. So we've got those drips sticking out. Even these little drips, look, watch this. Just comes back in, hooks around, looks like a little upside down question mark. There we go, so there's our red line done. Let's keep on working our way down. Just remember, every time you see a drip, hook it round. Tops of some of these lines, just break them up. Bottoms of some of the lines, double line them. Make them a little bit fatter. See, look at this one's going the other way around now. So definitely want to experiment on, just keep on breaking that line up. Doesn't matter if every now and then you kind of make a little mistake and you break the line in the wrong place or you put a line too thick in the wrong place. Really doesn't matter. As long as in general the top of the drips is broken, the bottom of the drips is fat. Oh, look at this one. So we're going to have to go behind this one. Look. So let's stop it there. Bring it back out. There you go. You see how it's all just intertwining? It's just reinforcing all that intertwining by putting the black outlines on. You might have found that you didn't actually need the black outlines. Maybe you prefer it without it. I always think an artwork looks a little bit more finished if it has got a black outline. But it's personal preference. You do what you prefer. Halfway on our drips. And you'll eventually get into a point where you're just zoning out with this. You're just putting these lines in, remembering to break it every now and then. Remembering to thicken it every now and then, but not taking it too seriously, just chucking these lines in. Ooh, I'm really thick with that line. But it looks okay. It looks like it's poking out even further because it's quite a thick line. Now don't forget to prime your pen regular, especially if you're using a 3M. They do tend to, the flow of a 3M is a little bit slower than you really want it to be. So it does tend to run out of paint if you draw too fast. It's looking nice, yeah? One last time. Strong intersections where it joins up to that top part. Even though this is the outside edge, you can still do a broken line. You don't have to have a perfect black line separating the outside from the colour. Nearly there. That's the worst looking drip I've ever done. That's a shocker down there, it's almost square. Lovely, look how cool that looks. That looks really nice. Really happy with that. Okay, there's a couple more bits we're going to do, so let's go and whip back up to the top. We'll leave that to dry down there really nicely. Let's go whip back up to the top, and what we're going to do is just add a few more little details to our cloud. And yeah, we've got like a top and a bottom, but what I want to make is try and make this bit look like it's poking out a little bit further towards us. So what the way we're going to do that is just grab this shadow colour again. Just put in a little shape like that. Let's do one there as well. That's probably all it's going to need. What about a little tiny one here? You want them to be quite curvy, because when we taper that out, we're going to make it, it's going to look a bit flatter. Yeah, that'll do nicely. Again, we'll leave that to dry. We'll come back to that and taper that out in a second. But let's just kind of whip back down at the bottom. We could do something like with a white pen. Just add a little bit of shine to some of these drips, okay? So we've done thick black lines underneath the drip. That's going to make it look like it's a shadow. It's going to give it a bit of volume, a bit of shape, a bit of mass. What we can also do now is go across the top of some of these drips. Just a little flick of white across the top of some of the drips. It'll do two things. It'll again reinforce the shape, the mass, the volume of it, but it'll also make it look a little bit wetter as well. So let's just try this. Look, just around the top. See, I'm just breaking these lines up, just little tiny dots and dashes, fat bit, dots and dashes. And you don't have to do this on every single drip. Just do it on the more prominent drips. There we go, look, just on these prominent ones. Let's whip over to the other side. See how that just makes everything look a little bit wetter. You could even then possibly just kind of bring some white dashed lines coming down if you wanted as well. Let's just do it here, look. Like that. Just making everything look a little bit wetter. Just on these big stripes, that's what I'm going to do it on. I'm going to do too many. have spotted one little spot that I didn't outline with the black, so I'm going to quickly outline that with the black. We'll move up to the cloud and we'll finish off. There you go, a little spot in there that I didn't outline. There you go, that's all it needs. And then one more time up to the top. How are we doing for time? We're doing great for time. One more time at the top. Let's just quickly finish off this cloud, and we'll wrap it all up there. So remember those big aqua green kind of C shapes that had fallen on their back? We're now going to go and taper those out. Same way as we did with all these sharp points, we're going to do the same with these. So grab that aqua green, just sort of taper those out so you get those sharp ends to it. Try and keep the middle quite fat. But just try and taper off those sides. That's looking quite nice. What the hell, let's go and see this bit, that curve there. That curve there, let's imagine that's one big round circle. Yeah, we see a little bit of shadow at the bottom, but we also see a little bit of white around the top there. Look, let's do the same on this one. I really like the way that's working. Hopefully what that's doing is it's just bringing those clouds a little bit closer to us. That's the plan anyway. But still looks like some sort of puking rainbow. Lovely. Let's have one last little look. There is our puking cloud. That's how rainbows are born. I think we're going to leave it at that. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to put a white power line on it. I'm going to leave that. I'm just going to keep it nice and simple and not overwork it. None of the stuff that I normally put on the outside. Let's just keep that gone. Little signature. And there it is. Have fun with this technique. Try doing it with clouds where the rainbow is going up. Try doing it with clouds that are kind of joining together. This rainbow could be in a big U shape. There's loads of different ways you can do this. Do different colours, different combinations. Maybe this rainbow's coming out the top of the cloud as well. Really have fun with it, and yeah, tag me in any creations because I always love to see what you've created. Thank you very much for taking part. I'll see you in the next video.